Thank you so much for joining me today on It's Life Changing. We have an awesome show for you. Our first segment, Inspiration to Impact. Thank you so much for watching, because I want you to be inspired, okay? I want you to have these stories that have an impact on your life. The next segment, the Speak Into Your Life, I hope you're able to get something from the education that I'm going to bring. I'm going to try and my best to really give you something for your spirit through that, and also for our community resources. We'll have resources in our community for you. So again, thank you so much for watching. Let's get started with our guest. Today in the studio, I have with me Dr. Lamont Ricks. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be here.
I am so happy to have you. Now, I read your bio, and it says that you are the motivational minister.
Yes, motivational minister, and I think it's a culmination of two callings.
Yes.
Just a little bit about my story.
Yes.
You know, my parents didn't go to college, but they always pressed for us to push forward for education.
Beautiful.
And I had my first adversity that I faced was in first grade. I failed first grade.
Okay.
And what they did to me.
I failed kindergarten. So I broke my finger.
Oh wow.
And they kept me.
Wow. But you know, after having to repeat a grade, it definitely damaged my self-esteem.
Okay.
It damaged my my self-efficacy and my belief in myself.
Okay.
But what it did do, what I'm very thankful for, it gave me the motivation to say this will never happen to me again.
Exactly.
And I think you have a choice. When you get knocked down, you have a choice to stay down or to get back up and to never get knocked down again.
Exactly.
So for me, I chose the latter, not to get knocked down again in academia.
Okay.
So as I matriculated through formal school, I played sports.
Wonderful.
I was a football player.
Okay.
I played at Deep Creek High School.
Okay.
And in 10th grade, I was the starting defensive end and also the starting defensive tackle.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, in typing class, I had a massive asthma attack.
Oh, wow.
So my left lung had collapsed in a well air-conditioned building. So when I went to the doctor told me I can never play football again.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, from my particular neighborhood where I'm from, that's what you did. Either played basketball or you played football to go to a big-time college.
Okay.
So that was kind of snatched from me based on something I had no control over.
Exactly.
So that was my second strike against me, so to speak. So I knew then if I wanted to go to a 4-year college, I had to go via academics, you know, the books.
Okay.
So because my parents raised me to have a strong work ethic, it was very important for me to, you know, take my lemons and make lemonade out of it. And I was able to do that, and I was able to go to Old Dominion University, finished in 4 years with a degree in counseling.
Good.
And then
Counseling.
and then I matriculated to Hampton University,
Okay.
earned my master's in counseling there, and I went on to earn my doctorate at Regent University in educational leadership.
We pass each other's, I tell you, in this life, you know, I've been to some of those places.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So now bringing you here again, not only is he the motivational minister, and meaning he is a minister, he's an ordained minister, not just in speaking, but he's also a motivational keynote speaker, and also, you know, principal. He's been an educator for years, and I believe you told me in elementary, middle, and high school.
Yes, I've been blessed to work at all 3 levels. I started out as a guidance counselor at Oscar Smith High School back in 2002.
Okay.
Then I went to another middle school in Chesapeake Public Schools for a year, and then I launched into administration, and that's how I started my administrative career. So I've had the blessing of working at all 3 levels, high school, middle, and now I'm at an elementary school in Chesapeake.
That's wonderful. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I love the journey. I hope that you're listening to the journey. As we started out by saying, this journey is not easy. A lot of people like to look at what we call our story, okay? My mom used to say, you know, a lot of people look at your glory, but they don't know your story.
Absolutely.
You know, they see the outside. They see who you are today, the mature man that you are. They see the things that you have as far as your education, but they don't understand the struggle. They don't understand sort of what it took, the mindset to actually get there. And I'm going to talk about a little bit later in Speaking to Your Life, what it takes to get there. Absolutely. So let's talk real quick about some of the things that you try to empower in some of those young men, young women, and people that you're empowering in the community, because I know you're doing a little bit of that too. Absolutely. When you're coaching.
Absolutely. Number one, our community is faced with a 3-headed monster. Low academic achievement.
Yeah.
High rates of father absenteeism, and also a high incidence of incarceration.
Yes.
So we have a 3-headed monster that we're fighting against in education as well as the church. So what I try to do through my particular secular career as
Okay.
an assistant principal is I try to encourage the young men. A lot of times in my position as an administrator, I'm also the disciplinarian.
Yes.
So I get the opportunity to see a broken family, and I get the opportunity to see the residual impact
Yes.
that the absence of a father has
Yes.
on a child, particularly
Exactly.
a young male. And regardless of, it transcends race, it transcends ethnicity, it transcends socioeconomic status.
It really does.
So when that father is not in that child's life, that child comes to school every day hungry, not just for natural food, but for
Yes.
the hand of a strong man in his life. So I try to use my job, my occupation, as my avenue to encourage young men to be the best that they can be in life.
Yes. And I want you to stay tuned. That's Dr. Lamont Ricks. Give him a hand. Okay. He's not going anywhere. He'll be back with us for our community resources because I want him to tell you about the resource that he has in his 2 books. And so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to It's Life Changing. It's now time for me to speak into your life. During this segment, I try to hear from God and give him a message to those who are listening. And when I do speak into your life, it's literally me speaking into your life. Today, you heard earlier from Dr. Lamont Ricks. We finished up with talking about sort of a call, a charge for our men. And as I was thinking about this, and even before I was planning for Dr. Ricks to be on the show, I came up with a topic called Fighting for Your Life, okay? Fighting for your life. And this message that I have this morning is for all of the men who are watching our show. And so I don't want you to focus on fighting with your fists. Don't misunderstand me. Most of the time when people talk about fighting, they think about their fists. I'm not even talking about fighting with your mind. Today I'm talking about fighting for your life. There's something going on in the environment. There's something going on when you watch the news. When you look at our families, there's something going on. I need you to fight for your life. And so I have a message for the different types of men. No matter what your situation is, I believe that God gave me something to give to you this morning. And so for the young man, let me say to you that those possessions, those things that you pursue are not worth it. Those things that you are pursuing, they're not even real. I want you to understand that there is something more for you in life besides running behind women and money and cars and the things that you see on TV. There is more for you. And a lot of those things that you think that you want, again, they're not real. And for the mature man, my message for you is that I want you to understand that you have to let go of the pride. It's really important that our men tell our young men, our young women when they're wrong. Tell that young girl to pull her skirt down. Tell that young man to pull his pants up. I need you to let go of your pride and not feel like you have to look a certain way or be a certain way. Just be vulnerable. Just be transparent. Tell them about your struggles. You don't have to tell every detail, but let go of the pride that I have to look a certain way. I want you to understand that we need to hear from you. To the military man, and that includes those of you who work in corrections and those of you who work in the sheriff's office or at the firefighter house or wherever you work. There's something about the man in a uniform. I want to tell you, when you're at work, there's a hierarchy. You have to serve and you have to lead. But when you get home, you're not serving. Nobody can tell you anything. Again, I want to talk to you about that because our homes are being wrecked. Our homes are being ruined because you go home and no one can tell you anything. I need you to understand that there's a fight that's going on, and the battle really is on the inside. The father and the fatherless father. Dr. Ricks is going to come back and talk to you in a little bit about his book, and I'm excited, so I want you to stay tuned and listen to this. But my message to you right now is be a better father. I want to say more, but this is a short version of it. No matter if you had a father, if he wasn't there, I always say by death, by military, he was out a lot, or maybe he was there and he just wasn't emotionally there. But be a better father to your children. Don't get caught up in what didn't happen for you or what you didn't have in your life. Be a better father. Be a better man. Be a man of character, a man of your word. Let's get back to that. As I was walking through my house and I was actually making a grocery list, and this sort of song, I'm not going to sing for you, but this song or this poem came to me, and I want to read it to you. It says, I don't want to see you cry. I don't want to see you die. Your life is so precious. I don't want to say goodbye. As I was thinking about everything that's going on in this world, I want you to hear those words because there's so much going on and so many young men laying down their lives for whatever reason. But I need you to understand there's something bigger going on. How will you live your life? I want you to wake up and not be a follower, but be a leader, because there's crowds of men going down a dangerous road. Are you following the crowd? I need you to fight for your life. Thank you for joining me. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our community resources. We are back with the very awesome and powerful Dr. Lamont E. Ricks.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, we left off earlier with us talking about the call that we have for our men in general. And you have 2 books that you've written, and I want to be able to sort of have people understand why you wrote the books and what the books are about so that we can get them out, because more people need to read these books. Tell us about the first book.
Well, I believe, Dr. Perry, that purpose is born out of pain.
Okay, yes.
On July 6, 2011, I was on my way to pick up my 2 daughters from the daycare.
Okay.
And my truck hydroplaned on Interstate 664, and it rolled over 3 times on the interstate.
Wow.
As it was rolling over, I knew I was dead. All I could say was, Lord, take me quick, because I saw a white tractor trailer coming in the opposite direction, and God miraculously stopped my truck while it was upside down on wet grass.
Wow.
So it was nothing but a miracle.
Thank you, God.
So after that, walking away from that accident, which should have led to my death, God called me with a dual purpose.
Yes.
One was to minister the gospel of Jesus Christ, but the second purpose was to motivate people that do not have fathers.
Yes.
Because I would have been in a situation where my daughters would have grown up without a father,
Yeah.
and my wife would have been widowed.
Yes.
So with that, that was the motivation that propelled me to write my first book in 2013, 21 Pillars of Power,
Beautiful.
Clear Steps to personal and spiritual fulfillment that are real, relevant, and relational.
Okay.
That's more of a devotional book.
Okay.
But as of late, my most important book that I'm very proud about is
Yes.
Legacy of Manhood.
Yes, Legacy of
Developing
Man.
a male into a man. According to research, over 67% of African Americans are born into single parent homes. So that is a huge epidemic in the black community. But in the white community is at 30%. So that is also a huge epidemic as well.
Still, yes.
So it transcends race, it transcends ethnicity and
really
socioeconomic
does.
status and levels. So this book here, Legacy of Manhood, is basically a blueprint.
Yes.
You know, when you try to build a house,
Yes.
you have to have a blueprint.
Yes.
You can't build a house without knowing how to put the proper concrete down, the walls, the siding, and the rooftops.
Yeah.
And then you have to know which particular companies to go to get the certain materials. So in Legacy of Manhood, Developing a Male into a Man, I provide some clear-cut, sage, tried and true principles that are eternal and long-lasting.
Okay.
The book is dedicated to 2 individuals. It's dedicated to my father, Leroy Ricks, Sr., who was also a pastor.
Okay.
But he grew up without a father. He
Okay.
grew up very poor, and he grew up in a dysfunctional family. But he, in turn, raised 3 boys to become college educated and to become men.
Yes.
And one of the things he's always told me and my brothers, my past has nothing to do with your potential. So just because he didn't have a father in his life had nothing to do with him being active in our lives.
We have to continue to focus on that more.
Absolutely.
We have to, so many men that I counsel and talk to, they allow their past, they allow those, what I call those wounds, those voids,
Yes.
you know, to really take over their lives and tell them what they can't do.
Absolutely.
You know, instead of what they can. This is not saying that you don't need your father, because you do, okay? But if he wasn't there, then don't let that stop you from being the best man that you can be, the best father that you can be, and all the things that God has for you.
Absolutely. So this is an awesome resource for single mothers raising boys.
Yes.
But it's also a great resource for women as well, because in this book, I basically outline how men should be built from the ground up.
Okay.
And the first foundation is having a God-fearing conscience.
Okay.
Whenever you take the conscience of God out of a man's life, then he has no way of knowing how to love a woman or knowing how to take care of his family.
Yes.
So it has a dual purpose and a dual meaning.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for the Legacy of Manhood.
And I love that, because I always tell people, if you do not believe in something, and by something I mean God, then you will fall for anything, that all those possibilities of the world open up. And I feel like so many men get caught up in that, you know, that wrath of all those things that are on TV and media, and they
Sure.
get caught up in those things because they forgot about who their heart belongs to, who their soul belongs to. And when you understand that, when you hold on to that and you carry that with you every single day of your life, then those things, you see them, don't touch them. You hear what people are saying, but you don't buy into it. You don't become that follower, you become a leader. Okay, and we need more individuals to become leaders. Absolutely. And as we see the leaders like yourself and all of my wonderful students, I give a shout out to, who told me they were just in DC doing a march. Those are the men that we need to stand up and need to pay attention to. So I love this book, The Legacy of a Manhood, not only just for our men, but for our young men, for our mothers. And again, as he said, this is not about race. As I was, you don't know about this, but my book that I wrote earlier this year, Peace, is my baby as well, you know, and peace is about bringing peace into life and into relationships. And so I understand the message. I understand the passion because I can see it in you. And so this is something that he does from his heart. So make sure that you get a copy of this book. Where can they obtain a copy of this book?
Legacy of Manhood, Developing the Male into a Man is available on Amazon.com. Just type in Legacy of Manhood. It will take you straight to the page. Also, it's available on BarnesandNobles.com. And you can also purchase an autographed copy from my website, drricksempowers.com. That's DRRICKSEMPOWERS.com.
God bless you. I wish you so much success with this. Give him a hand.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching It's Life Changing. I hope that today's messages and the Word of God today will inspire your life to make changes, the changes that you need to make in your life. God bless you again, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.